Today's guest is Chelsea Rae, an emerging artist from Nashville. Chelsea was recently nominated for several big international Singer-Songwriter Association awards, including Female Vocalist and Rising Star of the Year. Welcome, Chelsea Rae. How's it going?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing so good. So let's start back. Let's start at the beginning. Where were you born and raised, and how did music first come into your life?
I was born and raised in Peoria, Illinois, so I'm a Midwesterner. Music, I started singing when I was younger, but I never thought I was going to do it professionally. But then I got sick at age 12, and I just started writing lyrics every day. And then my mom got me my first guitar when I was 15 and got me into guitar lessons. I took them for about 6 months, and I loved it. Like, it was my literal life support.
Wow, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Did you start writing? Sorry, did you start writing as soon as you started playing guitar?
Before I started playing guitar, I
Oh,
started
wow.
writing lyrics every day.
Yeah.
So
And
I
when did you
love
start writing melodies?
when I started writing melodies probably at age 14, I would say. So
Awesome.
still like a little before I got a guitar. And then like it really started developing once I learned how to play.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Um, what kind of music was around you when you were growing up? Like, what were your influences? Were your parents musical? How'd that go?
No, actually no one in my family does music. So I just like listen to the radio every day. Like when I was younger, it was before I was 8. I listened to rap music, I listened to pop. Like I wasn't into country. And then my brother introduced me to country music when I was 8 years old, and I fell head over heels for it. So, um, country, it's just so real, it's raw, and it's true stories. And that's what I love about country music
Yeah,
because they are based off true stories.
absolutely. What were some of the artists you were listening to at first, like the first ones to introduce you to country?
The first ones, Martina McBride, Sarah Evans, George Strait, Run. That was my favorite first song that I started listening to. Um, and Loretta Lynn.
Nice. That's a
Yeah.
good list. They're all so good.
Also incredibly talented and such great role models.
Yeah.
Martina McBride, her vocals are just a force of nature.
You know, it's funny. I think Martina McBride was the first concert I ever went to. I think my sister,
Really?
yeah, my sister won tickets on the radio, and that was like my first show ever.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Concrete Angel, that was my favorite one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I
amazing. I still remember that one playing live.
music
It's amazing.
video, and it's just so it's real and it's raw because you know what happened in that music video happens out there in real life. So
Yeah.
that's just one thing that inspires me is to write about real stuff that happens.
That's awesome. Were
Yeah.
you always writing about that stuff? Like, what were your first songs like? What were they written about? How did they sound? Take us through that.
They were so my first song, I wrote it for my mom. It was like a Mother's Day song, like, Mama, I love you. Thank you for giving me the life you gave me. Um, so that I started writing for my mom. And then, she's been my biggest supporter through this all because, she wanted to see that smile on my face again. And she knew that music and getting me into guitar lessons and that would give me some light in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, have your songs always kind of gravitated more towards the country end, like even from a young
Yeah, they
age?
did. It was always country for me.
That's so cool. When did you first start performing?
I started performing actually when I moved to Nashville at like age 20
Wow.
because I've been battling health issues since I was 12. And it's just been a lot of ups and downs. And, I didn't even know if I was going to survive through some of it. And so, yeah, Nashville's when I really started performing.
Gotcha. And then when did you start recording, like first actually putting your songs down and getting them out there?
I started in 2016. I
Wow.
started writing for my EP that's out right now. And it was just so cool to see the process.
Yeah. Sounds like it's been a long time coming for you,
It
big
has,
thing
yeah.
to making that happen. That's exciting.
And like, when I moved to Nashville, I knew they showed me the ropes of how to write and how to get everything melodically written. And I just have learned so much. And it's going on 9 years since I've been here.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
amazing. So
been a
yeah,
long time.
tell us the story about how you moved to Nashville. Like what made you want to move out there? And then what was that experience like when you first did it?
So this was in 2010, 11. I got asked to do a reality TV show that was here in Nashville. And, at first they just wanted me to do it. And then they saw how my mom and I reacted to each other in our relationship. So they asked her to be a part of it. We filmed the pilot episode. And then 2 weeks after, the executive producer passed away from stage 4 lung cancer.
Yeah.
So it never went anywhere, but it was Battle of the Bands type and mixed with Jersey Shore.
Wow.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it was different and a lot of drama, but that's what brought me to Nashville, and I fell in love with Nashville. So I stayed here for about 6 months in 2011, and then moved back home because I wasn't quite well enough to live on my own. And then in 2012, my mom's like, "You ready to move to Nashville?" And I go, "What? Are you serious?" 3 days, I found a place. So
Yeah.
I didn't know anybody here at all when I moved here. I just made the leap.
So it sounds like you just went out for the show and then decided to stay there. Is that how
Yeah,
it happened at
it
first?
is. Yeah.
Crazy.
I
That's
saw the music scene and I'm like, this is exactly where I want to be.
yeah. When did you decide that music's what you wanted to do with your life or like what you wanted your focus to be?
I would say probably 15, 16 was when I really knew, okay, this is what I'm meant to do. This is what I want to do. I would watch CMT videos every day, the GAC. It was just, that has always been my dream.
Yeah.
And like now to be here and doing what I'm doing and all the nominations, it's just been a huge blessing.
Yeah. It sounds like that's just an amazing thing. Did you know you're going to move to Nashville at some point, like at that point, like when you're 15, 16, or did you not really know you're going to move there until you did?
I I wanted to move there, but I didn't know if I was actually going to do it. Like at 16, I was like, yeah, this is like, I watched stuff in Nashville and I'm like, this is where the music scene is and Bluebird Cafe and all that stuff. But I didn't know if I was going to. But then when I came here for that pilot, I was like, yep, this is where I'm meant to be.
Wow, that's amazing. And then you said the 6 months were kind of hard for you, right? What was that like? The experience first being?
So I've been battling health issues and my mom's almost lost me about 5 times. I survived 107 fever. I still wasn't strong enough, like my body, because I was dealing with a bunch of surgeries and, you couldn't really eat. So I was weak. And um, so I was here for 6 months and I started going downhill. So she moved me back home. And then in 2012, things really started to get better for me.
Wow, that's
But
amazing.
I mean, while I was here, I did some radio interviews and like through the 6 months I was here. I lived with a friend who also did music who I met actually through the pilot show. So
Oh, wow.
it was pretty cool. And then I just started meeting more and more people as I went along.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How have your health and music affected each other? Like, has music helped you get through the hard times? Has your health played a role in your music? Kind of what's the energy there?
So, when I was in hospitals, like music was all I had. I just started writing. And, when I was too weak to do anything, I just wrote lyrics because, I wasn't strong enough to get out of bed. And, you know, other people like along the way have not understood what I went through or what I was going through at that time. So when they walked away, music always stayed for me. And you know how people have literal life support? Well, music was my life support. It's given me something to fight for.
Yeah, that's
It,
awesome.
it's been, and it's like therapy. You get to write out how you feel. So it's like I get to release what's been bottled up inside.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's
That's why I got this tattoo that says "Keep the dream alive," the music note, because I've always kept that dream alive, no matter how bad it got. And yes, it has put a roadblock in between along the way, but I'm finally getting to that point where things are actually going really smooth for me. So it's just been, I'm really happy with how things are going right now.
that's great. I'm so glad
Yeah.
to hear it.
But I have
Um,
had some roadblocks where it's held me back a bit. But you just gotta keep going, and I hope I can inspire people. No matter how sick you are or what kind of situation you're in, you can still achieve your dreams. Maybe not as fast as you like, but you can still go after them. Like,
yeah,
you can't let that stop you.
absolutely. And it's amazing, like you were saying, just how much of a life support music can really be.
Yeah.
I mean, you think of, I don't know if you want to know much about the Beatles. Well, Paul McCartney and John Lennon both lost their moms or their parents. And, that's what really set them, it seems like, on the road to becoming the Beatles, because music was like, it appears to be the thing that helped them get through it all.
Mhm.
So I feel like sometimes those hard times we go through can really help elevate that creative side of ourselves that needs something to attach to. So I
Yeah.
think that's awesome. You had music during those hard times, give you an outlet.
And everyone has a story. I've written about my story, but it's first person, so other people can interpret their own. We all have a storm we go through. My health has just been my storm, but music's just so incredible. I don't know what I would do without it.
Yeah, exactly. Have you found it easy to be open with your challenges in your writing? Like, do you make your songs that personal, or what kind of approach do you have to your writing?
I really do like to write it based on what I'm experiencing in my life at that moment. Like, in almost like chapters, like chapter 1, this is what I was going through, so I wrote about it. Chapter 2, this is another. So like you keep turning pages, and that's what I wanted to kind of put out there. Like, I wanted to write it about my story, but I wanted to write first person so they can interpret their own, because
Yeah,
everyone has a story. It's just different.
absolutely. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Um, so when you first moved back to Nashville after feeling a little better and able to do it, what was your next step after that point? Did you start recording? Did you start networking? What did you get into?
I started networking. I joined a group called TSAI, Tennessee Songwriter Association. And that's how I started meeting a lot of artists and songwriters. And then got, I started co-writing, and then they taught me like how to put this together, how to like write a song better, like better than what I had. And, it just teaches you along the way. So I've learned a lot from that. And then, you just keep growing. As you meet more people, you get out there, and then you start performing. It's
Yeah,
so cool. Like, it's just so universal, the music scene. So
absolutely.
I'm really thankful for who I've met here and who has taught me. And then I have great vocal coaches. So yeah, I feel pretty lucky.
That's great. Sounds like you have a great team around you.
I do. Yeah.
What's your experience been with playing live? Like, when did you start performing there?
I started performing probably a year after I moved here. I started getting out to the scene and networking more and more and getting more co-writes. And then, I got introduced to shows that I've gotten to play, like festivals. And, once they see you play, they ask you to come other places. So it's literally like a chain where you just keep getting asked for more and more places. So it's been fun. I love performing. It's
Yeah,
Stage is my favorite place to be.
I
No
bet.
matter if it's a show or a round, I love it all.
Do you perform with a live band, or is it just your own solo act?
For shows, I like to do a live band. For rounds, I play my guitar. It's just my guitar and I, how we started out. Just me and my songs.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's a special moment for sure.
It is, because it's like, that's how you started. And then like when you get with a band, it's like your whole song just comes to life, putting every instrument together. I love seeing it grow from just a little idea to something beautiful.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
What was what's something you wish you would have known in the first 6 months or the first year of being in Nashville, total one of those two times that you learned later? Like what's something you wish you would have learned earlier?
I wish I would have learned more about recording, like in a studio, because I never had that experience before. So that part was really challenging for me. So I kind of wish I would have got taught that. And then I also wish, someone could have taught me rhythm better and like being in the pocket. We all have our weaknesses, and melodies are kind of my weaknesses, but chords and progressions, those are my highest. And lyrics, those are my three top that are easy for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well,
So, but I've learned, I've had great teachers that, have taught me how to do rhythm and all this stuff. I mean, when you don't have that back home, like in Peoria, it's not a music scene. So I, I really have learned a lot, and I'm still learning along the way.
yeah, I bet. I mean, that's the thing is life's not just you learn all at once and you continue.
Yeah.
It's continual, especially in a place like Nashville. There's always something else to learn.
Right. And like even as the years go on, you're still going to be learning new things.
Yeah,
So I'm excited.
absolutely.
There's
So
a
what
lot of
was
things to be excited for.
yeah. What was it like first going and recording? Like to finally get around to recording your songs? Were you nervous? Were you excited? And then what was it like actually like do the process of recording?
So I was a little nervous because, I've never done this before. I'm like, okay, no one's ever taught me how to do this. Like, no one coached me along the way. So I was nervous at first, but the guys that I recorded with just made it so comfortable for me. And when I was in the studio, they even taught me more stuff that I didn't know. So I'm really thankful for that. It's been such a cool experience because like I said, you see your song just an acoustic with guitar, but when you get a bass behind you, drums, synths, I mean everything, it's just incredible watching your song come to life.
Yeah,
That's I have to say that's my favorite part.
I totally believe it. And as an artist myself, I can totally agree with that. Where it's like there's something magic about seeing it just fill up.
It is. It's like it grows.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were recently nominated for some awards
Yeah.
for the International Singer-Songwriter Association
Yep.
Music Awards. How did that come to be? How did that happen?
So that is something you could submit for. And you have to have so many songs out, and I have an EP out called Revival. So I submitted and did all these categories, but never did I expect to get 6 nominations. I was like, what?
Yeah, it's
But
amazing.
I mean, it's so cool to get recognized for that because I've worked so hard,
Yeah.
like
Um,
blood, sweat, and tears, and you know, things had to be on hold, and then you start back up again. So it's been an emotional roller coaster, but an incredible one. So to be nominated in 6 categories is incredible.
yeah, I bet. I mean, that's some amazing awards right there.
Yeah.
So
And then in
let's
2019, I won Song of the Year at the Josie Music Awards
wow.
for Every Storm. So I cried.
Yeah, that's amazing. It must feel so gratifying, I guess.
Yeah. Just to know, like, I am good enough to do this.
Yeah. So let's say you win these awards. Let's say you win all six of them.
My
What would your speech be like right now? Who would you thank? Who
God.
would you say you owe? Let's go. Let's hear it.
I would thank my producers for helping me, my vocal coaches, my family for all their support. Definitely my mom because she's been the biggest supporter in all of this. I mean, she moved me here to Nashville so I could achieve my dreams, and she's put so much into this. So, I mean, she's the one that I would give the speech to because it really is if it wasn't for her, I don't think I'd be here. So I just I would just thank everyone so much for believing in me, and even fans, because back at home, you're in high school and they tease you. I didn't think I was good enough, so I would get nervous. But just to be recognized as a songwriter, a singer, and vocalist, it means so much.
That's amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that speech, and it's so cool to how your mom was such a support to you. I mean, I'm sure, having someone, especially in your family, your close family, who supports you
Yeah.
is huge for artists.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, that's our biggest staple. That's what we need. We need support.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's fans, but I think family being a support is where it all starts. So
It
I'm
is.
so glad you had that.
Yeah, me too.
So what are you excited for that's coming up?
I have a few things coming up. I'm not allowed to talk about it yet, but hopefully
Ooh,
I can soon. I do
yeah,
have new music coming, so I'm really excited about that. It's kind of a tag off 25 that's on my EP. And then I have a few playlist things coming up. So when I get to announce it, I'm really excited.
that's awesome. I'm excited to hear whatever's coming.
Yeah,
It's going to be
it's
good.
so hard to keep your mouth shut because you're just so excited.
Yeah.
But in this industry, you have to, because it has to be a surprise.
Yep. You got to keep the people waiting.
Right? Yeah. You got to just tease them with a little bit, and so they keep wanting more.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what are your goals for the future? Like, what are your long-term goals for your music?
I want to go on tour. I want to tour around the world. I want to inspire others, kind of, you know, to chase their dreams and not give up. Because, if I would have gave up a long time ago, and, even with health, I wouldn't be where I am today. And it's an eye opener. So, I just want to inspire others to keep going. And I hope that I can continue to connect with them through my music.
That's amazing. And yeah, I
Yeah.
think you're on the right track. I mean, you have a great sound. You're getting these nominations.
Thank you.
Seems like you got a great dedicated following, and I
Yeah.
think you've got great things coming up.
Yeah. I'm really excited. I think 2021 is going to be a good year.
I do too. Yeah.
It's already been incredible. So
Yeah.
I
Definitely a
can't
step up from
wait.
2020 for sure.
Oh yeah. I'm so ready to get like back out there. Like they're starting to open stuff up now, but like I really like want to play big shows.
Yeah, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
I think you will. I think it'll happen. I'm super hopeful, and I think
Thank
you've got
you.
your stars aligning, and it's going great.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for your time. Thanks for joining me, and I've loved hearing about your
For having
experiences
me.
and your story. And I think you have great things coming up.
Thank you. I appreciate your support. Like,
Of
thank you
course.
so much for reaching out and having me on here. I was really excited.